Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you from a wooded area, obviously. It's one of the little nature, peace, and serene, but some Edomites have, of course, invaded the peace. There's no one here till I sat down, but you know how that goes. But yeah, I was watching a video where a brother was talking about, I guess the British government is talking about some large amount of money to pay for reparations for their role in the slave trade, which is really going to be pennies compared to what they really owe, because the scriptures clearly say the earth was created for our sakes, for the Israelites' sakes. And you know, and Esaww Edom, he fulfilled his role in prophecy by living by the sword. You know, it said, by the sword thou shalt live. So, you know, that was his blessing, his weaponry, and that he would be a warlike people. And he pretty much stole the whole earth. All right, this is how you know that those Edomites I was talking about. But that's how you know that Esaww Edom is the so-called white man, and that he's not the Arab, which is Arab basically means mixed, you know, which makes up Elam and Ishmael, because they did mix a lot, you know, in the ancient times. All right, and their cultures are very kind of intertwined, you know, especially with the Muslim thing. But they are two different people, you know. Elam, then they're both Hebrew, but they're different people. All right, so and Elam, the world is not under the vibration of Elam. The world is not following Elam. They don't dress like Elam. They don't cook like Elam. You know, they don't. The world copies Esaww Edom. That's why everyone tries to wear suits with ties with the phallic symbol, the penis hanging from your neck. That's what a tie is, for those of you who didn't know. It's a phallic symbol. All right, and a necktie is still a phallic symbol because it's the testicles. All right. Now, I think that it was to the sum of 200 billion or something like that. Some 200 billion. So, I mean, that's a lot of money right here now. But, you know, you got Edomites that are worth trillions. Okay? And so that's really nothing. And you can't put you can't put a price on the world. You can't put a price on the air. You can't put a price on the wood. You know, this fallen tree that I'm camping out on right now. You can't put a price on the rivers and the oceans. And Esaww Edom has gotten dominion over all of that, right? Through unrighteous decrees. Wow, that's crazy. My Bible app just started talking like out of nowhere. This is damn. That's trip the hell out, and then it won't shut up. So, you know, Satan just be doing things, man. But I'm gonna play this clip of this video that was on the YouTube, and it's the last portion of a video that was done by Redacted. So I'll just let it speak for itself, and then I'm going to go into the scriptures afterwards, all right? Before I do so, though, let me read the scripture before I even do that. Let me go to Numbers. Uh, 21 and 16, I believe it is. It's not Numbers, it's Exodus 21:16. Yeah, it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. All right? So that's a promise that came from on high. All right? The Lord did that. He said, if you steal a man and he be found in your possession, that man shall be put to death. So we're still in the hands of the Edomite race. We're still their captives. All right? You have a social security number, you have a birth certificate, you have you have the ID, you have the citizenship. Basically means they own you. Everything you buy, you have to register. All right, which means you get a home, they really own the home. You get a car, they really own that house. All right, you think not, pay off your house and then don't pay your taxes. Okay? So basically they've enslaved you, and then they tax you basically they make you pay for being a slave. All right? This is crazy. My phone, my Bible app just has never done that before. It just starts playing music and talking and shit. That shit crazy. Okay. But let me find this video. And here we go.
Our use of clomiphene.
Wait. They got a commercial, of course.
What clomiphene does is it blocks the body.
Okay.
These things were not a manipulation of reality or any kind of distortion. It was George Bush did get a DUI. Hillary Clinton was investigated by James Comey.
Yeah.
Trump did have COVID. These are the real October surprises. So now they're sort of showing you, like, if you see anything that's an October surprise, it's probably fake news. It's probably right-wing nut job conspiracy stuff. Like, it's not real. So don't put any stock in it.
The Y-Files, the Project Bluebeam. I mean, it's kind of like laying that out. Like, this is exactly what was talked about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the idea of a fake alien invasion is all about continuity of government, as our upcoming guest is going to talk about here. Because when you then take away, when you have this like invasion that we need to all now be locked down because of, and they control it, there's a continuity of government that takes the president of the United States out of the equation, and it puts it in the hands of NORAD. And NORAD then becomes the controller of the United States, becomes the de facto president of the United States. So then we are then under sort of a martial law, and we lose and sort of give up all of our civil liberties. And that's exactly what they would love to do. That's exactly what we did after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. So it's not ridiculous at all. I love that photo, though. I mean, I love that they chose a UFO for that. I mean, they're literally preparing us for this.
I didn't see it that way, but I see what you're saying.
I mean, just listen to these whistleblowers who are talking about this and warning about it. Pay attention, people. We're not crazy. And by the way, all of these, we are, but we have to be, right? You know, the crazy ones, like, we have to be, because all of these conspiracy theories have come true. Yeah. All of these quote unquote conspiracy theories have now come to pass. So anyway.
Well, we're crazy for doing the work we do. I think that we like that all the time. Like, can I just go back to being a Matrix slave sometime? Can I just not know?
Can I go back to my
this?
teenage years?
Yeah.
Like,
So basically, the party is over. The mirth is gone, and they were talking about the alien invasion, and they spoke about these ships that showed up, over there in Western Asia as bombs were flying. And these ships were knocking missiles out of the sky, and they're trying to prepare you for that. Well, the truth of the matter is, that is exactly what the Lord is going to do. But He's not coming to knock the missiles out of the sky. He's coming to take control of the missiles and guide them to where He wants. As they've proved, there's so many videos out there about how these ships show up during hurricanes, during earthquakes, during missile tests, during space flight, and they show up, and you see them, and they find out later that they went by so fast you never even saw them, with the naked eye. But then when they slow it down, all of a sudden you got all these ships that are hanging out around, these missile sites, these rocket sites, and these so-called natural disasters. They're not natural disasters to a certain extent. I mean, Esaww, Edom, the Lord has given him the technology and the power to do these things, but these things were happening before Esaww, Edom had that power. And when if they do it, themselves, it's the Lord that's guiding them to do it. But those are not aliens. It's not Project Bluebeam. That's them trying to control the narrative. They probably do have this Project Bluebeam, but there really is going to be chariots of the Most High that are going to come, and basically they're going to come during the midst of World War III. All right, and because he starts mentioning how what a perfect scenario if we're attacked by these aliens, and then we need to stop fighting and we all need to come together. And that's what he basically spoke about. That you gotta remember. I think it was Reagan spoke about that, and also Clinton spoke on it as well. All right, I don't know if he spoke on it when he was president or after, but Clinton gave a speech saying the same thing, basically, regurgitating Ronald Reagan's speech about the chariots, and the chariots are going to come, but then they're not UAPs, they're not UFOs, okay, but they're the chariots of Israel. Is the Lord's army, the Lord of Sabaoth. That's his air force. His ground forces are here on the earth already. They're called the elect. Well, the men of the elect. All right, that his 144,000. All right, they're going to be here on the earth. That's his ground forces. Okay. The Lord has already infiltrated the enemy. The same way the Esaww has brought all these millions and millions of migrants in. That a lot of them, are soldiers, and and they're going to do all sorts of things here in America when the time comes. Well, the Lord has his super soldiers, his heavenly gods here on earth. Little G's, of course, not big G's, but little G's, gods, man. All right, that are going to be able to do everything that the Lord did and greater. So you're not going to be able to hurt them. You're not going to be able to stop them. All right. So let me get this. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. It's been a while since I read that. All right, well, I'm in the Old Testament. I might as well shoot over to Genesis 9 and 6. And it reads, "Whoso sheddeth a man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for this is the image of power that's the Lord, Yahweh, made he man." All right, so that's that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You don't get to rape, rob, murder, beat, enslave, castrate, and then arrest our development, take our heritage. See, we're not going to take your heritage from you. See, you're going to be forced to wear your Edomite name that you've dodged for the last couple thousand years. All right, for the last 1,500 years or so. All right, that you've ducked and dodged your nationality, and became everything else except Edom. All right, you're not going to get to dodge it. And your blood and your pain, you have to give back double. Thus said the Bible. That's what it says in Revelation. But I'm going to get to that after I read what it's going to look like when the Lord returns. And it sounds like a scene out of a space invasion movie, It's 13. Yeah, let me just... Oh, yeah. There's going to be no more lies, no more whitewashed images and lies about the Lord either. And that time is very near. Okay, so this is 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. Starting at... I'll start at verse 1, because he saw this in a vision, all right, in a dream. And that's how the Lord talks to people, in a dream and in a vision. But it says, "And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved the waves thereof. And I beheld and lo, a man that waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen unto him." And all the things trembled are the people. Everything's going to tremble when they see them, because they're going to see when these chariots show up. They're going to stop, NATO and whatever's left of American forces. Well, America's going to be wiped off the earth, and so will the Israelis. So what's left of any forces that was on America's side, well, they're going to stop fighting one another, and start trying to fight the Lord. That so Gog and Magog, they gonna get it too. All right, but it says, and when wheresoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they that burned that heard his voice, like as earth faileth when it filleth to fire. So all I can see is when those rays, those beams of concentrated fire and lightning were coming out of those ships when you go War of the Worlds, especially the newer one with Tom Cruise. Okay, and that's what is coming out of their mouth, because that's what it looked like to him when he had this vision. You're talking about a man having a vision. There they go with this bullshit again when they start talking. You're talking about a man who's had a vision, 2,500 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and trying to describe things today. All right, but it says, verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number of the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, that came out of the heavens. They're also all these nations that are at war with each other and they're allies with each other are going to try to come together to fight against the Lord. All right, and the Lord's going to put fear on them, but they're going to fight anyway, just so he could destroy them and show his power, the same way he did to Pharaoh. And I'm going to read it. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had engraved himself as a great mountain and flew upon it. So his ship, just like that gigantic ship, appeared out with fire and brimstone. It looked like coming out of the clouds in that Independence Day. All right, he's gonna come right out of the clouds just like that on a mountain-sized ship. Okay, it's gonna be so big you won't be able to see. It's gonna be bigger than cities, man. All right, Chicago is a ginormous city. LA is a ginormous city. New York is a ginormous city. We're talking about something that's going to blot out the sun, make it dark when it comes over. All right? The force is alive around me. All little creatures are running around. All right, but it says, but I would have seen the great region, a place where the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held a sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it were a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast sparks out of a tempest. So we're talking about like a fire ray, a laser ray type tornado spinning in a concentrated, and going and destroying them. All right, and it says, but I only saw this sent out of his mouth, and his had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. All right, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest that fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon the sudden of the innumerable multitude nothing was perceived but only the dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw it, I was afraid. The Lord is going to turn them utterly to dust, man. All right, those chariots are going to come, and before all that war happens, those very same chariots, the small chariots, are going to come out, and the smaller ones out of the great fathership, and they're going to be picking up the elect all around the earth, mainly here in Babylon, to rescue them from all the incoming arrows, the ICBMs. Okay, then that's when the change come, because we can't go up on those chariots and these bodies. We're going to be changed in an instant. That's 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Go read it. All right, and then when we come off of those things, we're going to have immense God-like power. We're going to be able to do everything that the Lord did and greater, and we're going to come down and judge the earth. And Esau, Edom is going to get rounded up. And then this is going to happen. This is Revelation 18:6. We'll start with that one. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And in the cup which she filled, fill to her double. Esau got to pay double. That's why we always say 1,000 years of slavery. All right, they're going to get double what we got this last go around. And it's going to be the worst, most inhumane, frightening, little nightmarish, constant nightmare for them. Just like in that damn game, that wicked video game, that little nightmares. You just constantly, except they won't be able to run. They won't be nowhere they can run or hide. All right, and they're going to have to work for free to build up the kingdom of heaven for 1,000 years. And it's going to be so, they're going to wish for death, try to commit suicide, death shall flee away from them. Their existence is going to be that terrible. They're never going to know what it's like to lie with a heathen woman with the other nations. All right, you won't be getting the Asian women and the Indian women and the black women and nothing. You ain't never going to know what that's like. Okay? Only the elect will know what that's like. Okay? Point blank, period. All right, it's going to be changing places, just like the movie. You're going to go but you're going from riches to rags, not rags to riches. And this is Revelation 13:9 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Call halal Yahweh Basham Nawashai Bahasham Kahakwadash Kwam Yasharala Abad Babal.